off this week.
Of drunk ember, yes.
Oh boy, yeah, no shit. Everybody cleans out.
That's what they should just call
31
it. No
days.
shit instead of November.
Hey, well, are we going? We going? We're good to go? I'm ready. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Bingle Show. I'm your host, Eddie Ift, and there's my co-host right there, Jason Hour. He made it back for two episodes.
Oh, hey, how you doing? The mic's on.
That's how he does it. That's those.
What a great intro.
Yeah, and that's Chris Porter right there. He's just filling in as a guest.
I'm literally just hanging out with my favorite comic of all time.
And he did say that last time when he was on the episode a few weeks ago, he said Chad Daniels is his favorite comic of all time.
Well, that's very nice.
Who is our guest right now.
Right, I am the guest.
He's the guest. You're the co-guest.
I'm the guest.
I'm the host. He's the co-host.
There should be a co-guest.
There should be a co-guest.
I literally just, Chad walked on the bus and I go, can I be on the show too? And they're like, yeah.
Hey, you want to be my plus one?
We're not
going on this bus.
We're not very exclusive here. We do close the doors now because otherwise Gene Pomp will stumble in.
Well, last time Red Band just walked on the
Red
bus.
Band people just walk in, and so we're gonna have look. He's kind of big. We're gonna have him stand at the door and act like security.
At least
like
charge
that.
a cover.
Tegan is like, aren't you gonna be a security guard? Yeah.
Executive protection.
What's executive protection?
It's where you get out of a limo.
You seen that movie Whitney Houston did?
Oh, The Bodyguard?
I watched that. Do you watch that? Did you see the new Whitney movie?
Only
No, I didn't.
It's because you don't have a black wife.
I don't.
Cause I will always love you.
There are dogs coming down from the mountain right now. Just like,
I always ask.
I think the apocalypse is coming.
You know when you are at a club and the sound guy comes up to you, he's like, "What song do you want to come up to?" Or what song? I always go, "I'm going to close with Whitney Houston." I always have that song, and then at the end of my show, like if I'm not getting a good, my closer's not working, and I'm like, I got to come up with something else. I'm like, "Thanks, guys." But whatever the MC's name, I'm like, Todd here. I don't know if you guys know this about Todd, but he's an amazing Whitney Houston impersonator.
Shut the fuck up.
And I go, and the like the 22-year-old MC's walking on stage like, what the fuck what are you doing, man? And I'm like, do you want to hear him? And I get the whole crowd going like, you want to hear him? You want to hear him? And people are like, yeah. The problem is 9 times out of 10, the dude doesn't even know the song because they're all like young, like 22, and they're like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you not know Whitney Houston?
I will go up to that song sometimes, and then I'll walk into the crowd. And this is before when you could touch people's faces and they wouldn't have to take extra meds before they melted down. You can hear the they're taking more. But you could and you'd like rub a man's face and put your fingers, like flip his lip. And they just were like, what the fuck is going on? And it's just a Whitney Houston. They're so confused. It was really fun to do that.
Now it'll be an article on Vox.
Yeah, now you can't do that shit at all. He left his cage. That's what they're calling it now.
What?
Instead of a stage.
No.
Cage. No. I don't know.
He touched my lip. I was offended. It was
It was mouth rape.
it triggered me. It was mouth rape.
It was finger mouth rape.
He definitely had buffalo wings before the show. Just remnants of it.
Yeah, I can't think how many comics have like gotten on people's laps or
Oh, fucking Brad Williams used to do a lap dance to close
yeah.
the show.
Yeah, it's all over, guys. Nothing.
Dude, I saw Brad Williams do a lap dance literally for one of the hottest chicks I've seen in real life. Like, he pulled her out. We were in Seattle. He pulled her out of the crowd, and she was Brazilian and fucking just the gorgeous woman. Literally. And he did a whole lap dance for her, and I was just like, yeah, that's...
Wow.
You win.
I did a show for Kevin and Bean's April Foolishness, and they do it in like a 10,000 seat amphitheater, and it's like packed, and their fans are crazy. And Eddie Izzard was on it, Jim Jeffries, like Patton Oswalt, Jay Moore, Bob Saget. Everyone was on this.
Larry King.
Wow.
Larry King was on it. Larry King did a set.
I thought you were making a joke.
Geraldo had a lot of Capone's
Larry
vault
King
stuff.
went on first, but the best is Brad goes on, And I'm like telling everybody, like everybody's like watching. And I go, he's gonna get a standing ovation, guys. And they're like, no. And I'm like, trust me.
Yeah.
He's getting like whoever had to follow him. I'm like, whoever has to follow him is dead. And Eddie Izzard's like, that's me. And I'm like, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he brings Lisa May, who was the co-host of Kevin and Bean at the time. He puts her up there and does the lap dance, and he springs from the floor and like lands on her lap.
Like
Oh,
a
yeah,
Velcro jump?
Yeah, and if you don't know, Brad Williams
it's a
is little
cartwheel.
person.
He cartwheels
Yeah,
on
yeah.
like it's a gymnastic.
It's amazing.
It's pretty great.
It's awesome. It's like watching Jeff Dunham without Dunham.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
just the puppet. And
I was in Montreal this year, and he got on Jeff Dunham's lap to close the Dunham Gala, and was the thing. I don't know what to say. I don't know what you're supposed to call puppet. I don't think they like when you call it
you
puppet.
gotta love Brad for having the best sense of humor
Absolutely.
and being able to explain all those. I've never heard Brad ever say to me that offends me.
That me, Andrew Santino, Jimmy Schubert, and Brad Williams went and played golf, and afterwards went and had lunch. And Brad had to like take a phone call right as we were walking into the restaurant, and Santino got him a high chair.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, "That's over the line, bro. That's over the line." He's like, "No, he'll think it's hilarious." And Brad walked up and thought it was the funniest shit on the planet. I was like, "Cool."
That's amazing.
He took us to the LPA.
Mm-hmm.
That was
We went to the
best.
little.
Oh, that's not what I thought that stood for.
What's help?
I was trying to figure it out. I was like, Lesbian Parent Association.
Yeah, don't go there after the last show. I was. Yeah. Huh? Oh yeah. We got to remember now when we do this on the bus that people are outside watching. There's a screen behind this.
Oh, they're
that shows
watching us
outside.
too?
Tell them that.
Oh,
remember?
yeah.
We're supposed to keep it on the film.
Oh, we are? Okay. And
Oh, no,
on
I
the
think
up high.
California law says you have to tell us.
well, you're kind of on a podcast that's going live on live streaming right
I've
now.
signed nothing so far.
Are you living here now? Because I keep seeing you.
No, it's just the last month.
Are you doing a show this week?
I am not. I'm just doing
Okay.
some live shows.
Your Conan was amazing. Though.
Well, that's
that
nice,
Was,
yeah.
that was incredible.
Well, thanks. I took
One of my favorites.
I took a big shit right in the middle with a stutter.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And then I had to
I'm surprised I would, because I usually remember that. Because when I see a comic do it, I'm like, like.
in my head, I was at a crossroads because I was like, do I spend the rest of my time making fun of the fact that I just stuttered on TV?
Yeah, yeah.
And I looked over at JP, the guy that books it, and he's behind the camera, and he kind of shrugged his shoulders. And I didn't know if that meant get through the rest of your stuff or do whatever you want. So I still didn't really have. And then
Yeah.
finally went into my bits. Afterwards, I was so pissed off.
You would have
Oh.
rather.
It would have been great to make fun of how
I
dumb
agree.
I was.
I agree, and that's what sucks about the 5 minute. I wish it was like just do like a whole bunch of time and we'll edit it down,
Sure.
so they could find all the good stuff
Yeah.
instead of that go and stop. And that's because I've gotten into that. And when you start digging the hole, yours wasn't a hole though; it was a great set.
Oh, thanks.
But I'll dig the hole and I'll be like, the best was I saw Tony Woods do that in Last Comic Standing. We only had 3 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and Tony tells these long stories, and everybody's waiting for Tony. We're all like, what's he gonna do? What's Tony gonna do? Because they're like 20-minute long stories. And he gets on stage and he goes, "Oh, hey everybody," and he goes, "They got, oh, now I'm down to 245." And he goes,
Just play by play.
he goes, "So I better get to it." And he keeps going, "So, oh no, 2 minutes." And he keeps going, and we're all like, "Tony, do something." And it gets down to like 5 seconds, and Tony goes, "So 5 seconds. The thing about vaginal dryness." And he goes, "Good night, everybody." And it was like, for comics, it was our favorite set of the night.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the judges and everyone were like, "He can't move forward," and we're like,
Yeah.
"But he's like Todd Glass was the funniest guy on my year." Todd, well, they took us to the Hudson Theater to look at the theater, and we had all like shot our Comedy Central specials there, so they were like trying to make it like, "Have you ever been in a theater this big, comedians? You young fledgling wannabe comedians?
Yeah.
You're gonna get to perform here tonight." And we're all like, "Yeah, we've We've been here. You know, like
Yeah,
everybody.
it does nothing for you. That's
My
why we're
dad
doing
owns a
this.
Yeah.
Dude, the comedy when I did my Comedy Central Presents, I thought it was
Gonna
I
change your life?
I had done Last Comic Standing, and that was fucking life changing.
Yeah.
And then Comedy Central Presents came. My
I,
the
again,
next day.
I got like two. I got like two emails. Like, hey, I think I saw you on the show. Was that you? I didn't turn the volume up. But anyways,
We shot ours on the same night. That's right.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
So the funny part of Todd Glass, though, they have us all on the stage and they're filming us all, and they're like, "Comedians, this is where you'll be performing tonight." And then all of a sudden, we hear up in the balcony, "Hey guys! Hey guys!" And Todd's all the way at the top of the balcony, going, "What are you guys doing?" And he was just like, and I remember at that point we were all like looking at each other like, "Can you just give it to him?"
Yeah.
And he's the funniest guy here. We all agree. We'll all leave. Just hand it to Todd. And no, I think he went far though. He was like the final five or something.
Todd is as funny as man. I remember opening for Todd in Columbus. Ian Bang was featuring.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
No, that might be two different Columbus. Anyway, Todd Glass. No, that's right. I was hosting. Josh Need was featuring, and Todd Glass would be. I'd be up on stage telling my jokes, and you're scanning the crowd. He'd be in the back with his pants to his ankles, just in his boxer shorts, just because he'd know you would eventually get to him. He'd be like, "Fuck off."
I don't have any problem with comics doing any of that shit to me at any time during my show. Like, I'm like, if you want to ruin the whole show, please do. I've been doing this 23. Nothing's going to happen from like,
Yeah.
They've hit me in the face with snowballs. They've strangled me. All kinds
Wow.
of, yeah. Please.
They strangled you.
I had a guy strangle me on stage one night.
Like,
physically.
Is
Like,
it gag?
no, he was angry. But I mean, I've been chased around the room. I've had everything. But so that's the stuff I'm like, at least it was fucking different. Like, do it. Please do it. And I know so many comics are like, dude, you were in my eye line. What were you doing there? Why were you talking to the manager? I saw you. And it's like, ugh, don't want to work with you.
those are
ever
guys
again.
that probably you don't want to hang out with anyway.
Ever.
Yeah. The guys that take it too fucking seriously take life too seriously. And then you hang out with them afterwards and you're just like, oh, you're just a dick.
Those guys are the people that don't drive into the intersection when they're waiting to take a left turn.
Yes.
It's like, go fuck yourself. Right? It's the same mentality.
I went on a tour with 5 comedians in Australia. They send you on these like best of the festival shows where they take.
Wouldn't know.
You've never gone? Oh, so
I
they-
got rest of the fest.
Do you just all take naps?
It's a lot of McDonald's. You just kind of set up in the corner. There's not even a microphone.
We're doing your nodcast.
It's
That's a callback to when no one else was there.
That's right. That felt good.
and I went usually when I go, I get to go with like 4 of my buddies, and it's great. We have a good. They sent me one year, and I'll admit who it is because I think I've told it on the show before. Hannah Gadsby was one of them.
I don't know.
From
Who that-
Nanette.
Nanette.
Oh, Nanette, of course.
Josh Thomas, and I don't remember the driver's name, but the other comic was Steve Wrigley, and
also
then
Nanette.
yeah, but they were all like wouldn't drive into the intersection, and
I can't be part of that shit.
it was the worst 2 weeks of my. I almost killed myself. I was calling my agent every day, going, "You got to get me out of here." And he's like, "You just got to finish it and get your check." And I'm like, "I don't want my fucking check. I want you to send a helicopter." We were like in the deep part of New Zealand.
First, Australian money's fake anyway.
Well, they sent us
right?
to New Zealand, and I was like, "Please!" It was 2 Australians, an American, and 2 Kiwis. And the one Kiwi, he was a nice guy, but his show, he was a self-harmer, so he was a
Oh.
cutter. So
What-
I'm in
That
a,
was his act.
he
That's
talked
an
about
event
it.
now?
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought he, like
Oh,
mutilated
yeah, I did
himself.
too. I thought
I was
that's what he
like,
did too.
this is an interesting cadre.
Just people vomiting.
Yeah,
It's just-
like,
Yeah.
he was
yeah.
a stuffer. He stuffed things in his ass. I did 10 minutes of comedy, and then the next guy cut himself. What the fuck? You in a carnival? Where the fuck
those
are
Kiwis,
you?
huh? Those Kiwis. He actually cut himself the other direction. Come on, you guys. It's a toilet flushing
Faker,
joke.
faker.
The road to Mordor is just littered with terrible sideshows.
So when you do these festivals, sometimes down in Australia, they're fringe festivals. So they have performers of all the fringes. So you do get a lot. Like, do you guys know the Lizard Man?
I thought that was Eddie Izzard.
No.
That's the guy that like split his tongue.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So he was in the tent next door to me, and he's an American dude, and he's a nice guy, but he would come over to my show afterwards. He split his tongue, that it's like a lizard. His whole face is tattooed green. I've had him on this podcast. He has those like stuff under his skin that make his
Implants, yeah, the
implants and
things.
horns, and he's done a lot of stuff to his body. But and he's a nice guy, and I'm open minded. But I'd be selling merch, and every night after my show, he'd come over after his show to hang out while I'm selling merch. And finally, I was like, dude, you gotta go away.
Killing sales,
You're
bro.
killing my sales. And I was like, I'm not a racist person. I'm okay with black people, Asian people, but green people, I don't think people are ready for you yet.
But also, that's a guy that should have just bought a Fiero and souped that up. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason to do that to your body.
When you go to those fringe festivals, like you say you've never played a sport, yet you smell like an athlete. Interesting. This whole fucking place stinks now.
It was, yeah, he's a nice dude though, but it did hurt sales.
What were you selling?
my albums.
It would have been great
Yeah.
if you could have got him to go, hey, you guys, he has CDs over here. That would have been perfect.
And dream catchers.
I think we had him. Did we? We
I
did.
never met a snake.
So we
guy.
had him on the show in Adelaide, and I think I had him
never
show his
had him.
balls too. I think he's done something to his
He's
balls.
the-
Yeah, me
Wow.
too.
But they're not
You had
off. You got a vasectomy,
You had a
right?
vasectomy?
You don't know that.
You know,
I tied him off. Now
No,
I'm
no, I
fucking
checked
like a
him.
master.
let's
Killed
You
him.
don't think I'd check
let's
your
test
medical
it.
records
Let's
before I
test
hang
it
out
right
with
now.
you?
Jason has Jason's mouth is a sperm tester. He can tell you.
I didn't
what?
know that.
Yeah. What you could tell the content, right?
Blood type.
Okay.
Blood.
Blood type.
Dietary.
Oh, positive.
I'm positive.
Have you ever tasted your own semen?
No.
Oh,
I've
no.
smelled
not?
it. I've never like actually.
I've never tasted your own
I've
semen?
been
No,
like,
I haven't.
I've been this close. Nah, I can't do it. Like I've never done it.
You're a quitter.
Too good
I'm
of
a quitter.
shot.
I've never. I've
How many times have you been this close?
2 or 3. Just
Have you ever like snorted and then snot went down your throat?
Yeah.
Same diff, dude.
I don't know about that.
Let's ask for the female
I've never
perspective.
snorted with my
Like,
dick.
I'm gonna blow snot in my wife's vagina tonight. Same difference, baby. It's
Yeah,
gonna
but are you
work.
guys trying to have a
Ra-
kid?
Rachel's got an answer for us.
No, I don't know why I'm disgusted thinking a guy's tasted his own semen, but then I think about.
You've
well,
tasted it.
Yeah, you take. Yeah.
To
Yeah.
be
Why is it
fair,
gross?
I
Yeah.
mean, if you have Mountain Dew that morning, it's fine. That's real.
Is that
It sweetens it up.
Oh, it does?
Pineapple and Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
I heard
Mountain Dew,
pineapple.
huh?
Mountain Dew?
I heard
huh?
asparagus too.
It just makes
Yeah. Oh my God.
Hey,
Does it taste like what's it taste like?
semen?
Yeah.
I mean, it's depends exactly what Chad said. You can tell if a guy's it can be very very gross, but then other times it can
When you say gross, compare it to something.
like very salty,
Like
sour.
an oyster?
My wife
Or
drinks,
like a
my wife hates
like
coconut
a
water,
warhead.
and every time I'm like, this coconut water is really good. Try it.
I've heard that too. I changed my answer. I've heard that too.
I'll have to try coconut water.
I didn't even have an answer to begin with, but I was like, that's the one I want. 'cause
Yeah.
I've
Is
heard
it-
that. I
is
really
it-
have.
Now I'm gonna feel weird every time I'm drinking coconut water. I'm gonna be like, no, come, this is the best.
Well, just
cum
make sure
ever."
you shake it first.
yeah.
Oh,
In a
jeez.
syringe.
From the sound guy.
Even in a room of comics, you gotta groan.
you made the whole room groan. Way to go.
God
Way to go
damn.
with your egg white or egg yolk.
Man.
White.
salmonella.
Oh yeah, you don't want to eat raw eggs, but
I
raw
know,
jizz.
Sylvester Stallone.
That's how Sylvester Stallone got salmonella.
That's how I got into eating raw eggs.
I just like to play this game with Jason. What's your price to just do a shot of another man's load? Your price. You have a price, especially now.
Now, I'd also like to know your discount price if you mix it into some Jack Daniels.
Is there a Groupon? What's your Groupon code for sucking a
some
man
sort of,
off?
There's
like,
going to be a
duck
good answer
brain
here. That's
shot?
why I'm asking. What
My
is
price?
1
I would
ounce.
have to say peace.
Like in the
world
Middle
peace?
What, like in
Yeah.
the world?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
everybody
that'd be
lays
about
down their,
right.
everybody
What a
beats their
well-thought-out
sword into a
answer.
plowshare.
What a motherfucker. Listen. I'll suck a dick.
Y'all got to get along now.
I didn't say you have to suck it. You just got to do it out of a shot glass.
Oh,
Still though.
is
That's
it
really-
donated or do I know the guy?
It's me.
Is it just?
I hope you say peace in North America.
I mean, is there like Jackson turned it into something? Maybe, you know, like a chef.
Jackson's a
you know?
chef friend of his. He wants it souffled.
You mean like, you know, like,
Like some sort of cookies and cream shit.
has anybody ever seen semen on a griddle? What does that do? I don't even know.
Well, I can tell you that too.
It's the worst waffle you've ever had.
And
It's
it
like-
sets off all your fire alarms. Yeah, you run out of butter. You want a grilled cheese. You're horny. Fire alarm.
Cut to 2 weeks later, you have a jizz tasting souffle.
I'm glad we got back to normal on this.
Yeah, that last show was heavy. Oh, we're just.
I needed to laugh tonight. Thanks,
I
guys.
forced you to show up, and then that happened.
That was mean. What do you want me to carry? You're unequally burdened.
We knew it was bad because we were out there. I was smoking a joint. People are walking out like, it's fucking heavy in there. I'm like, it's a short bus. How heavy can it be?
All right.
Sometimes you just, you know.
I wish you had written Jason's Horrible Life.
I saw your text and I was like, I'm not gonna go.
Did
in
you
there.
drive here from the text?
No, I just came here because I talked to you on Saturday.
Oh, you were coming anyway.
Yeah, I just.
Oh, I thought you were at home.
No, I was
Okay.
here. No, I was.
Nobody
I
knows
was-
what's going
I
on
was
right
sitting
now.
out.
This is really good
But
for
like,
the
it
show.
was just a tough. It's a tough. You know, it's a tough road to hoe, man.
Yeah.
Did you just say ho? It's 2018.
Yeah. dude.
Come on, man.
Come on,
Don't
Jason.
say row
Check it.
either.
Yeah.
Hoes are still loved. What are you talking
Well,
about?
but you can't
don't
say
think
that
that's
word.
right.
That's an
Wait,
abbreviation.
But when I think row, I think tent city.
Wow, yeah.
Whoa.
yeah.
Is it row to hoe or road to hoe?
Row.
No, row.
Hoe to
Like a
row.
row of crops to hoe.
Or
Hoe
a
to
row
row
house.
to hoe.
Can I tell you something? I've said that wrong for 43 plus years.
Oh, yeah, well, it's fine.
It's all right.
What's the plus?
You're from
how many
Minnesota
months?
too.
March, so, I don't know. I'll be 44 in March.
March what?
2nd.
I thought
I don't even know why I'm March 14th, but I hate that when people are like, "What's your birth?" Mine's. We were born near each
Oh,
other.
yeah.
That's same day.
And then they try to match your
Sign.
Sign, yeah.
That means nothing.
Means nothing to me.
Nothing.
I'm
I
in
saw-
November, and they're like,
I-
"Oh, Cancer or whatever before Sagittarius is," and I'm like, "No, I'm a Sagittarius," and they're like, "Oh."
When I used to do colleges and didn't have an hour, and I was taking that money so happily, I would I was like, I'd bring up their school newspaper and make some jokes out of it. But I always used to say, who believes in their sign or whatever, and they'd be like, I am a Sagittarius, and I would just read Cancer to them, and I'm like, does that sound like you? And they'd be like, totally. Let's show them. Well, I just read Cancer, so you're fucking wrong. And your horoscope is off, or your parents are not your real parents. Because I never once believed any of that horse shit.
I believe all of it. I read all of them and I take them to heart.
You know what I
Get out.
read? You know what I read that's so that I for whatever reason take to heart, and I know I shouldn't, are fucking fortune cookies.
I just hope they are, because they usually write them pretty good.
They're usually pretty right on the money. They're like, "You're great." I'm
Yeah.
like, "You're right."
Yeah, they all. I think they
Your
write.
plans will succeed.
Yeah, they never
yeah,
write
it's
anything
never
like,
bad.
don't walk outside, you're gonna get hit by
Yeah.
a rickshaw.
They're like advice cookies anymore.
Yeah,
Those were never. They're free, aren't they?
The worst was I was, and this is a true story. I was at
Say advice or buy.
Chinese restaurant in the Valley, and I cracked open my fortune cookie, and it was an advertisement for American Airlines.
Is that real?
That is real.
like they got lazy and they
Like
just,
I opened it up and it was like, "Hey, next time you fly American Airlines." I was like, "Oh, that must be the ad part," and I flipped it over and no, it was like that was the fortune.
You have to understand, though, there was a restaurant full of Asian employees that were stuck in a basement for 4 hours while some American Airlines employees fucked up their fortune cookies. They just brought them down. They're like, you can come up when these fucking cookies are done.
You know, they were the fucking hipster fucking fortune cookie makers. Like, we're not selling out.
I think it's weird that we talk about fortune cookies and the fortune. We never talk about the cookie. What the fuck is that thing? And what's it
I don't
made
mind
of?
it. I think it's good.
It's great, but what's it
little
made of?
That's what happens when you put semen in a frying pan.
Well, then I love it.
Besides world peace. Come on, we make it like.
No, why do you always,
I just-
10 years, same conversation.
I just want to know
trying to
your
get
price.
your semen into my mouth.
Well, why don't you do it once and be done with it?
Yeah, let's get it
'Cause
over
I like
with.
to be wanted.
It'd be
Once he has me, there's no more mystery.
Oh my
it's
God.
over.
Oh shit.
It'd be
That's
funny if you did
fantastic.
swallow a semen and that was the end of the podcast. Like
Yeah,
that
we
was the
ended
whole
it.
point.
Forever, when we started the show 8 years ago with Jim Jeffries, he wanted us to do this glory hole
The
challenge.
glory hole challenge.
He talked about it forever, where there was going to be a box that we did at my house. There was going to be a box with 3 holes in it, and there were going to be 2 girls and a guy in it, and we were going to all go up and stick our dicks in it and not know which one got the.
That is interesting.
Yeah, and I was like, Jason
That's
and I the whole.
Japanese TV.
Jason and I the whole time were like, we don't.
It's 2 girls, 1 dude. Why
Yeah,
are there
that-
gotta be 2 dudes
No,
in
that
there?
was gonna
No,
be...
no, it's the one dude.
1 dude.
One dude,
Oh,
2
okay.
girls.
Sorry.
So like you didn't know
Sorry.
who got the roulette.
And you know
who
who'd
got
know. You would be able to tell who got the guy because they'd come first.
Yeah, they get the best one.
Because gay dudes suck.
Well, they do. They do a
immediately.
show on Japanese TV where a guy sucks another guy's dick, but you can't. They put like a curtain in front of the guy. You see him like as he bows down, and you get paid if you don't come.
Yeah.
And so it's
Oh my God.
hilarious. And this guy's doing it. And he's like, and all of a sudden you see the guy sucking his dick take his hand up and start pinching his nipple.
No.
And the guy goes, ah! And all of a sudden there's a ding, 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 ding.
Holy shit.
That'd get me.
I've never wanted
fair.
to be
That's the re-
Japanese
that's
more
the
than
release
right now.
button. My
No,
other,
I'm fine. No, fuck.
have you seen Japanese TV is the best in the world. Have you seen the ice stairs?
Huh.
Oh yeah.
They have a stairway that's just ice.
Oh,
And they have
stairs. I
they
gotcha.
have like 10 contestants, and it's a race to the top. And
I
you,
maybe have seen.
and
that.
you think that this guy you're like, oh, this guy's gonna win it. No,
Oh,
and but it's like he might fall 7 times. Like, they keep getting like you get up and you're like, oh, now this guy's gonna all the way to the bottom, and like they just keep going and going and going. And you're like, didn't this guy almost win it 4 times? And you'd think they'd all just be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
We're never gonna make it. And
That's why-
they
That's why we made the A
the
bomb, dude.
stairs are on a little bit of like an
Well, that's the
downward
whole
angle.
reason.
Yeah, they have to be.
Yeah, it's the best show ever.
Well, you remember MXC, right?
Who?
MXC was the American version. They took
Oh yes.
Tashiki's Castle, which
To
was a
turn into
Japanese
Wipeout?
show, and then turned into Wipeout.
Right.
Yeah. That was.
It was much better when it was the Asian version.
Yeah. Well,
Japanese.
MXC was like the kind of the bridge from the Asian version because they basically took the Asian version and had
Dubbed it,
American
right?
announcers.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the best.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Because those people, you were like, that dude might be injured for real.
So when people ask you like, can you believe Japan has a suicide forest? And you're like, have you seen their fucking television shows? Yeah, I can believe it.
Wait, is that not a show? I thought that was a show.
Yeah, no kidding.
did we have a producer of Wipeout? Somehow I met a producer from Wipeout. I think it was Lindsay's friend. He said that they have outtakes that they can't show for legal reasons
Oh my god.
of just people like fucking themselves up, like really like broken necks and things.
I saw them shooting soccer balls way into the air, and then this one lady panicked and looked left and looked right and didn't know what to do. And finally, she looked up and it hit her right in the fucking face, and it was just blood splat everywhere. And I have to tell you, I loved it. And I'm not even a weirdo, but
I
I,
didn't even
love that
see it.
shit.
Yeah.
Just to hear you describe it, I'm like, yeah, I bet that was the best. Do you remember the wall? They would have to crawl. They'd have like 3 inches on their feet, and they'd have to hold on, and then like fists would
Yeah.
literally
Oh,
come
yeah.
out of the wall and hit them in the face.
I do remember that.
That was
That's
the
such a
best.
great show.
It's the best show. Like what that if somebody said to me, "What show? If you can write for any show, and make an equal amount of money as any other show," I'd be like, "It's a Japanese show where they just hurt people." That's what that, or I like Kenny versus Spenny, which is one
Yeah,
of my favorite
sure.
shows. I loved how much Kenny fucked with Spenny, like the horrible things he did to Spenny, and I felt bad for Spenny, but I really like the time he made him think he had AIDS was one of the funniest things I've ever. Did you see that?
I just
No.
just thinking about it. Oh, can I tell you this Mark Agee story?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yes. So Mark Agee was a guy that was working with. He works with my manager, and she got us together. She's like, "You two have a similar sense of humor." And we worked on a project together. Very funny guy.
I think he's wonderful.
His
and
Twitter's amazing.
Yeah, I would try to get him to work with me whenever he could. And he used my computer once for his email, and then he gave me the computer back, and it was open, and there were over 100 windows open with porn. So I had to sit there and close all of them. But when I did, his email was still open. So I emailed everybody, CC'd them, not BCC, and there were some important people on there. So they were furious that it was open, and I just wrote, "Hey, sucks about Brendan Walsh. Can't believe he's gone already. But I guess that's just more work for us, right, guys?" And sent it to everybody. Because Brendan Walsh is, in my opinion, the fucking king of
Yeah.
pranks.
Absolutely.
And so I'm still waiting
Yeah.
for my retribution.
yeah.
Like, I dropped my son off at college, and I was like, this might be the last time I see you, because Brendan owes me one still. So we're driving to the gig in Des Moines, because in Des Moines at the Funny Bone, they put you 15 miles away from the club. So we're driving. We have plenty of time to... and so this lady calls Mark, and she's screaming into the phone, "Oh, my God!" for a minute straight. And finally he goes, hey, you got to calm down. You got to calm down. That was a joke that Chad did. That was Chad Daniels sent that email. I was like, you can't be telling people that shit. And Brendan got the Houston... is the Houston Improv? What, I think it was the Houston Improv, canceled a week because they thought he was dead. They got someone to replace him. That's crazy shit.
I love practical jokes, and I hate when people get upset. We pulled one. Arj Barker and I pulled one on Nick Thune in Australia really bad, and Nick started to get like freaked out, and Arj calls me on the phone. He goes, I'm out. After we pulled it off,
Sure.
we did it. Nick starts freaking. We basically told him he thought he had a spider bite, and we
Oh
put a
my
letter on letter. We got letterhead from the hotel, and we put on letterhead. We wrote a letter that there was an infestation of spiders of the I forget, the Tasmanian wallaby spider, and we put it under all the doors. And Nick calls us. He's like, "Did you guys get a?" We're like, "What letter?" And he's like, "I'm coming up to your room." So he came up and he showed us, and we're like, "Yeah, we just got it under our door too. We had one." We're
Oh
like-
my God.
And he's like, and so it said to call Dr. Mickey Dwyer, who Mickey D is a comedian we're friends with, and call Dr. Dwyer, and he'll tell you what you have to do and everything. And like Nick was like, "Fuck, fuck," and Arj. So he's like, I was like, "You better go call him." So then Arj just looks at me, and goes, "I'm out. I'm out." And I'm like, "What do you mean you're out?" And he's like, "It's all on you." And I'm like, "You can't. You helped me write the letter. You put it under the door. You can't be out of this now. It's like we killed somebody." He's like,
You
killed
can't throw
him."
the last scoop of dirt on a shallow grave and be like, "I'm out, you guys. This was great. Thank you."
But that's yeah, he pulled out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's all on you. And I was like, you. So then Arj pulled a joke on me, like a couple months later. Well, I pulled a joke. We stay in the same hotel next to each other, and every night he'd go into his room first, and then I'd go to my room, but I would come back out and flip his sign to "Please make up the room," and I would do it
Oh my
every
God.
night. And every day we'd be having lunch. He's like, "And the fucking maids came in again." And so finally he figured it out that it was me. So he calls a radio station, or he makes a fake email from our publicist, and uses her name and everything, and it's like, and writes just like she would say to me, Eddie, I need you to do me a big favor, blah blah blah. Can you help me out? Can you? The co-host is sick, and they need you at the radio station to go do this Australian radio station that we do all. Go be the guest host that day, and they're gonna hook you up. They're gonna give you tickets to Future Fest. They're gonna feed you all day. Blah blah blah, and you know, just show up at 5 a.m. at this location. So I go to the location at 5 a.m. and I'm like buzzing. No one's answering. I'm like, where are they? And I just get a text from Arj that says, never fuck with a Sikh. And he's a Sikh religion. He goes, we don't
that's
forget
funny.
that. And I was like, you're fucking dead. I'm like, we're taking this to the next level. And he was like, I'm out. I'm out. You got me.
Yeah.
I got you. We're out. And I go, no, this is, we go to the next level now. And he didn't know I already had the key to his room. When he,
Holy shit.
already, I forget how I got the girl at the front desk to give me a copy of his key or something, or he left it on his thing, and I forget I had it, but I'm like, I have access to his room whenever I want. Like I'm doing something, and he threw a fit. He's like, "Fuck you, it's over. We're done. We're equal." And I'm like, there is no equal in like getting each other.
Shenanigans.
And to this day, I've never gotten him back.
Yet.
Now
I thought tonight was a prank. When you were texting me about are you coming or whatever, I'd been here. I got here like on time. I was like, oh, these
have
guys.
we ever pranked you?
I thought you like there was no show. That's why I was like, is there a show? Because you're like, are you coming? And I still didn't. I didn't see you.
What's
come
the
in.
worst thing I did to you?
God, I don't even know.
The date with the prostitute?
No, that wasn't that bad.
She totally put out. It was fine.
We
No,
told
there's other
we went on
things. There's
Match.com.
horrible
We thought
things.
he thought she was off Match.com, and we bought him a hooker,
Oh, that's
but we didn't pay for her.
Wait, what?
Went on with the prostitute. And he's like, "Well, okay, it was nice meeting you." And she's like, "This is it." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Can I have my money?"
Friend zone.
You got friend zoned by a prostitute.
No, the other way around.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
you got
yeah.
friend zone.
I friend zoned her.
You flipped the script.
Champion.
I gotta tell you, so it's Brendan Walsh. I might get this wrong, but he had the picture of the cutest puppy in Austin, Texas.
Oh, love this story.
And you can jump in if I get it wrong. And he put an ad in the paper that was basically like, "Hey guys, I have to move. I can't bring this puppy with me. So if somebody could please take it, call me as soon as possible. Here's the number." And then the outgoing message on the number was,
Well, no, wait.
Okay.
Because he said, like, I'm on a bit of a time crunch, so if
Right.
no one adopts it, I have to euthanize it.
right.
That's, yeah.
And so then people called. I mean, everyone called. And the outgoing message was, "I'm sorry, you guys are too late. If you're calling about the puppy, I had to put it down."
Yeah, yeah.
And people lost their fucking
Well-
minds.
Well, no, what he said was, he goes, I was hoping for that reaction, like people just losing their fucking minds. But it was just everyone hanging up except for one person. One woman was there like,
Because dead puppies make her come.
yeah.
I guess.
I mean, is that not a thing?
He has problems.
Dude,
I mean, he's a legend.
he's dude, following him on Twitter and watching him troll like
Todd
the
Berry?
cable guy back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And all the like, and in Todd Berry leading
The
up
Todd
to-
Berry stuff is hilarious.
it's just so great, and he's just so genius about it too, and such a good dude. Like
Yeah.
it's all he's just fucking with people,
Yep.
which I love about it.
That's what Kenny. When we had Kenny Hotz on the show from Kenny versus Spenny,
Yeah.
and he's terrifying. Like he's got like he'll go to a place that no one will ever go to, and you're like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
play that far. I didn't know you'd actually kill a man.
Oh no, we're
Like-
not friends anymore
Yeah.
if you do that.
I actually thought you meant like way northern Canada. I thought you meant a physical location.
Way the fuck up
He'll
there.
go to a place that.
fucking
They
you went
never
to
turn off the
Evansville?
lights.
They made me eat a ghost pepper one night on the show.
Oh fuck
And,
that shit.
I've
and
eaten ghost
the,
pepper.
it was weird. I saw
No
Kenny.
way.
I looked at Kenny when I was eating it, and he goes, "Spit it out." Like he whispered to me, he goes, "Spit it out," and I was like, "If Kenny Hotz is saying spit it out,
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
I'm really
Yeah.
gonna die."
No.
And my lips started to swell up, and
Yeah.
it
If
was,
you touch one with your hand,
Yeah.
it fucks with
Dude,
you.
I did a hot wings contest in New Orleans. It was ghost pepper wings.
Oh, I
I
saw
got
a
a free
picture of
T-shirt
you.
out of that
Oh,
fucking
cool,
shit.
though.
You better have gotten
But
a
I've
free
got-
diaper.
but I got-
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you use it to wipe the
think
blood
that-
out of your
that-
asshole?
Such a better writer than I am.
Did you bleed?
No, I puked it up, but I got high as fuck from that shit. It was the craziest fucking sensation ever. Like,
Now
It's
I
called
Because your
wanna-
body's on high alert, or what
It's
is it?
called a flashback.
no, like
He's a kid.
I was
Right
on
here.
the road. I didn't even have any weed accessible, and that shit like
That's not fat. That's CBD oil in his stomach.
CP oil and CPD oil.
You know, I haven't done many drugs, other than
You mean no? I didn't start doing anything until I was 30.
yeah. You started.
30.
Yeah.
35. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, he waited.
It wasn't even a habit. It was more like
A week.
okay. Yeah, I did.
How
that for-
long?
I tried mushrooms for the first time when I was 30 because I wanted to make sure that I got it in.
Did you like it?
I loved it. Was really
Yeah.
nice day in Appleton, Wisconsin, and I was working the club, so we did it Saturday
Did you do it with Cliff?
morning. Nope, I did it with my friend Kevin, who was like, I really trusted him, and I was told you should be around somebody.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Happy
we,
times.
we saw this. I thought this kid was biking towards us on the road, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is such a great day! It's sunny out, blue skies." It was close to Halloween, so that doesn't happen very often in Wisconsin. And as the guy got closer, it was a man with a beard, a hairy man with a beard and a backpack coming towards us, and he looked like a flying monkey from The Wizard of Oz. And I was like, "Kevin, I don't like this anymore." Just immediately, I want to be done. How do I be done? Yeah, it was brutal.
Dude,
It changed the whole fucking landscape of the day.
One time I did mushrooms, and it was in Kansas City, so like, you know, you don't know how great they're gonna be. So everyone I was with ate an eighth of them, and then an hour into them, I was like, I'm not feeling anything. So being 24 and stupid, I ate the other eighth
Oh,
because
buddy.
I'd bought a quarter, and then like as soon as I ate that eighth, the first eighth kicked in, and I was like, oh fuck. This is gonna suck. And next thing I know, I'm fucking on the moon. And everyone's like, I'm tripping my balls off. And I'm like, you have no idea where I am right now. It was just like I saw wood fucking. It was one of the few times on mushrooms where I actually fucking literally hallucinated.
My friend Sally Brooks, very funny comedian, she ate some edibles, and she was walking to, I guess she had a hotel that looked like a castle, and she was like, I was walking, and it wouldn't get closer, and I didn't know what to do, and then the next day her friends were like, hey, why were you standing outside all night? Oh, shit, man. That shit makes me laugh so hard. I was walking. It was just great.
Anybody here ever done meth?
No.
We did the we did the podcast in Brisbane one time, and I said after the show, I go, "Hey, I'm gonna do the podcast after the show," and it was like all podcast fans at the show. So we're just gonna go back to this room. Anybody want to stay can. So I sat down with the other comics, and this dude just sits down at the table, and I'm like, "So you're a big fan of the show?" He goes, "Yeah, man, every episode." I go, "How'd you find the show?" He goes, "Well, I was looking for Joel Osteen.
No.
And I couldn't find him, but I found you." And I go,
What the fuck were
go-
you
I
searching?
go, "Why were you looking for Joel Osteen?" He goes, "Well, because I have a pretty bad crystal meth problem." Or he goes, "I had a pretty bad crystal meth problem." And I go, "Oh, so you were hoping Joel Osteen would get you off it?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I go, "But you listen to us." And I go, "How's it going?" He goes, "Still got it." And I go, "Are you on meth right now?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "What's it feel like?" He goes, "It's pretty awesome." And I go, "What's it feel like?" And he goes, "It's like being on coke for 12 hours straight." And I was like, that would get terrifying. Like from what I've never done cocaine, but I can imagine like just not coming down for 12
Yeah.
hours. You'd freak the fuck out. So he's telling us all about his coke, and his wife's with him. And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, she wants me to quit." But he's like, "I only recreational do it, just every once in a while." So the show got crazy. I don't know if you've ever listened to this one. Bev Killick, who is a really funny Australian comedian, then decides she's going to piss in his mouth. and we go out to the parking lot after the show, and we bring the microphones and everything to watch her piss in his mouth. And he's like
It's
lying
really
on the
good
ground.
to have microphones.
Yeah,
for
well,
that.
I'm
Narrating.
commentating. At the same time we're doing this, there's parts of Australia where meth is very prevalent, and this was one of them. We're outside the men's bathroom. At the urinal is a line of windows that you can, if you're taking a piss, you can see out the windows. And we're all laughing hysterically that she's pulling her dress up and like squatting over him, and he's lying on the ground like, do it, do it. And we're all laughing, and we're like, hey, to the people in the bathroom, look out here. And all of a sudden, this guy looks at us from the window. It was like days later when the zombies start fucking like
Yes.
he starts batting his head against the window and just going, "Ah, ah!" and he's like, oh my God, like he's gonna eat us and kill us all. And we're like, what the fuck? I'm like, I got a meth head getting pissed
I have a
on.
question. One question. Is this another mushroom story? Are you on mushrooms during this?
No, but so everybody we were like, hurry, get up, we've got to get out. There's a man trying to escape through that little window to murder us all with his mouth.
Yeah.
Like so we like scurry out, and I go get the bouncers, and I'm like, there's a murderer here. Like there's a guy in the bathroom who is going to try to murder us when he sees us because he didn't like that we were having her piss in his mouth. But the bouncer's like, they're all on meth, dude. They're all on meth.
Wow.
And so I was like, yeah, I did another show in Australia in Bunbury where I'm on stage halfway through my set, just doing my set, and they told me it's a methy crowd. Guy just goes, I'm going to fuck you. And I go, I think I heard what you said. I think you didn't mean to say that,
Yeah.
but it came out, and I said, so
You forgot the word with.
I go,
I'm going to fuck with you.
I'm going to let you say it again. This time think, then say it. And he goes, I'm going to fuck you. And I was like, show's over. Like, I can't think of my jokes knowing
No.
there's a man sitting over by the bar that's like, I want to do this thing.
Yeah.
What if he
How'd
did
it go?
say you forgot the word with, and the guy goes, all right, I'm going to fuck you with this dick. All right, you got all the words. Fair enough.
You know what? That was on me.
It's one of the only times. It's Australia. The only 2 times I've ever ended a show like where I just went, I'm done. Like that was.
That's it for
there's
that.
There's a man gonna. The other time was I made a joke about having a gun, being an American. We were in Jindabyne, which is out in the mountains, and this guy goes, "Oh, you have a gun? You have a gun? You want to see a gun? I'll show you a gun."
Why do they always say that shit? That's the same thing Crocodile Dundee said about a knife.
And then
Why are they always saying that line?
and he walks out. He just storms up. He's an old man. He walks out. This is up in where they have like mountains where they ski. And I look at his table and I go, "Does he have a gun?" And they go, "Mm-hmm." And I go, "Is he going to get his gun?" And they go, "Mm-hmm." I go, "Show's over then." I go, and I just walked out the back door. I'm like, I'm not gonna stick around to see if maybe he's got a gun,
Yeah.
or if he was fucking around with
It's
me.
like white men can't jump. I'm going back to the car.
And I went up back. The guy who was booking the show was my agent's brother. I go, he's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm fucking out of here."
Yeah.
The guy's coming back with a rifle or something, because I think rifles are.
I had a
legal.
guy in Missouri show me a bullet.
Oh,
He was, well, first off, I was doing comedy behind a podium. That's already bad.
Nice speech.
Nice speech. At one, like, it was going so horribly that I tried to do crowd work, and I picked the 2 people that couldn't really hear. They were like older, and they were kind of
Awesome.
laughing. I was like, "You're digging the show," and he's like, "Ah," and I was like, and everything I'd say to him, he'd just laugh, and then I'd rip off that, and finally, this one dude wasn't laughing, and so I'd like kind of point at him and be like, "Hey man, what's up?" And he just didn't say a word. He just held up a bullet,
Jesus Christ!
Wow.
and I go, "What's that?" He goes, "You know what it is." I go, I go, "What kind of bullet is that?" He goes, "A fast one." And I go, "Well, the slow ones don't work very effectively,
What are
do
you
they?"
gonna fucking throw it at me?
And that got nothing. And when I knew science wasn't going to get a laugh, I was fucked.
What would have been best if you were like, "Can I borrow the bullet?" And he gives it to you, and then you pull out a gun and you
Oh,
put it.
I just happen to have that caliber of weapon, just like, haha, motherfuckers.
Do you know what a bitch you'd feel like if you got stabbed by a bullet? If you were like, how'd he die? He fucking stabbed him with a bullet. He didn't even have a gun.
It just, yeah.
I love Swartzen's joke about getting. He'd rather get shot than stabbed, because stabbing you don't die on the first stab, and they hit you, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? And then you just keep watching them. Not again. And they keep stabbing you over and over, and you're like, again.
I was in Columbia, Missouri one time, and this couple would not shut up, and so I just let loose on them. I mean, I started at kindergarten.
Deja vu.
Yeah, I started at kindergarten and fucked up their whole life, right? I just was like, comedy's done, and I'm gonna ruin lives. And so the next day, I go see the life of David Gale, and this movie has so many twists and turns, and as I'm walking out, I hear, "Hey, there's the comedian," and of course, my comedian ego, I was like, "Yeah, that's me," and I turned around, and it was that couple.
Oh Jesus.
And she goes, "I just want to say something." I go, No. I said that you could talk to me last night after the show, and you chose not to. So you don't get to talk to me now. And she goes, "David Gale's probably funnier than you." And I go, "That's the movie you're going to?" And she goes, "Yeah." And then I told them everything that happened. And there are so many twists and turns in that movie. Ridiculous.
That's awesome.
I've been spotted by people that didn't like me like the day after a show, and you're like, oh, you think that they're gonna compliment you, and they're like,
No one's
to my
ever not
face?
liked me.
You never had it like, but oh, it's awful. It was like, it happened to me in Southampton, England, and I was on a jog like after the show, and people were on their way to a rugby match, and they're like, "Hey, it's the comedian from last night," and I'm like thinking like, yeah, I'm like, "Hey," and they're like, "You were terrible, you were awful," and I'm like, "Oh, thanks," as I'm like running and waving. That's me.
When I was still living in Kansas City, I was like the house MC at the comedy club, and then I would have to work at
Not at Glazers.
at Glazers.
Okay.
And then
Did you ever work at Glazers?
I didn't.
You missed out.
Did
I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
Okay.
It's worth not having your check clear. It really was.
But I remember I would do shows at Stanford's, and then like Saturday morning would wake up and go work at the mall, and people would walk by and be like, "Hey, you were the comedian last night." I'm like, "Yeah," and they look at me in my mall security outfit and like, "What happened?" I'm like, "In the last 8 hours, fucking nothing. This is life."
This is what happens when people don't laugh as much as they should.
Yeah.
I
to
have
be.
7,000 stories about Craig Glazer. Do you know I used to go there just to put him on the show because he was such a train wreck.
Oh yeah.
It was unfucking believable.
If you get on YouTube and watch some of his interviews that he had towards the end, like right before he
the
got
stuff with his
sick.
pets,
Oh yeah,
those are funny.
Those are fucking. He's out of his goddamn mind.
Out of his goddamn mind.
And you're like, you drive a car.
Yeah, yeah. I had his Lotus one time. He dropped me off at the hotel. He'd have a Lotus, but he couldn't pay your check. And so he drops me off at the hotel, and I go, and I could always play him very well. I'd be like, "Craig, you know what girls like? When you spin those tires and you get smoke going." And he'd be like, "Yeah, I really, these tires they're already bald. And then they're gonna spin easier." Craig, I was like, look, do you see the girl behind the front desk in the hotel? I'm telling you, she'll love it. And he'd be like, all right, just, you got to do it the length of the parking lot. And I'd have him doing donuts in the parking lot in his Lotus, just fucking it
Hit
up.
that gas pedal like you're driving towards a clock tower, and you need to get back to 1985.
I remember one time I was back in Kansas City and some young comic was like talking about Craig, and he's like, he's got a Lotus now. He's the only one in Kansas City that has one. I go, because he's the only one that bought one.
Yeah.
Do you think he knows a Lotus guy? No, it's a dealer. It's a car.
Yeah.
You have to buy it through a certain.
One day he picks me up at the airport, and before he drops me off at the hotel, he goes, I got to take you somewhere with me. I got to stop somewhere. We stop at this AIDS not hospice, but where AIDS patients go to get their cocktail
Sure.
that they would take. And he goes in and lays down on the bed, and the guy gives him a shot of HGH. He's like doing human growth hormone
Yeah.
and testosterone, and he's like, "Yeah, this is where I get my roids." And I'm like, he's like, "You want to watch?" And I'm like, "Not really, but I will." So I go in the room, and he pulls his pants down, and the guy's like shooting him up, and I'm like, "Craig, you can't do steroids and then go eat McDonald's for lunch." Like that. And he's like, "It builds muscle no matter what."
It's all protein. It's meat.
Yeah, it's just you don't. I'm like, no, you have to work out with. No, you don't. You don't. It's a miracle drug. One time he was driving me back from. He always talked about his black prostitute or stripper girlfriends, and I was like, I don't believe you. You're lying. I had a threesome last night with Black Barbie and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, you didn't. So he was, oh, she's staying at my place right now. I go, no, she's not. You're a liar. He goes, I'm telling you. And he always lied. So I just
Like
we're-
constantly. If he was speaking,
we're driving by his condo place, and I go, hey, Craig, stop at your place right now. I want to see Black Barbie. I want to see her. I don't believe she's there. And he goes, she's there right now. I go, let's go. So I walk him up the steps. And I run away from him at the end because I think he's going to like try to like say the door's locked or something. And I open the door. Or no, I rap on the door before he's like coming up the elevator. I ran up the steps. And I'm banging on the door. And all of a sudden, this like 6'4" black stripper prostitute opens the door completely naked. And I go, this is better than I could have imagined. Like, this is way better. And he comes in, and the dogs have shit and pissed all over the fuck. I mean, like,
well,
like
probably the dogs.
and then he goes to her, and I'm like, nice to meet you. I forget if it was Black Becky or Black Barbie. He had
It was
two of them.
Black Barbie.
Yeah,
For sure.
but Becky was after Barbie. I forget. Anyway, he goes, here, hey, show him where you got my name tattooed. And so she just bends over in front of me, and she's got a tramp stamp that says King of Sting
Oh,
on her,
fuck off.
which is his book that he wrote. I have to say I'm very sad he died because
Oh.
he was such a plethora of material.
He was
Oh,
something.
shit.
He was something. You know, listen, Craig and I had our issues, so, and I don't like to fucking say shit about a man that's passed,
But
but
you will.
he was never.
Good with checks.
My checks were always right, always cleared, whatever. But like he was all. Listen, when I was coming up in Kansas City, I was never the golden boy. I was always the other guy.
Yeah.
And so when I made it famous ish for a hot second, and I didn't, and I went to do the improv first, they fucking banned me for life.
Really?
Yeah, and then said shit about me in the press in Kansas
Look
City.
at the picture that Rachel has. Show that to the.
Oh yeah, there he is, and there's
Wait.
Black Barbie.
Yeah, I think that's Becky.
my glasses.
I
Oh,
forget which
is that Black Becky?
Black Becky or Black Barbie.
It happened this year, actually. You watch, you'll see it. You'll see that.
How old are you?
46.
Are you really?
46, dude, and it happened this year.
Oh.
6 months ago, all of a sudden, I was like, notice I was squinting a lot when I read.
I wonder if that's gonna happen.
Because
to
you have
all
blue
of-
eyes.
I wonder if that's
Well,
gonna.
they
no.
say everybody around this age goes through major.
You get glaucoma faster. And
I
it's-
smoke a
Yeah.
lot of weed.
It's
so.
to punish
Although you
for
will
having those
survive
fucking
Holocaust
gorgeous
more
eyes.
often.
Yeah. You do have gorgeous eyes.
Sick
Will
of
you
it.
eat my cum?
I wouldn't have guessed you were 46.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, he's holding up well for what he's been through.
Yeah.
Will you next episode have a Jason's horrible life?
Sure. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's people want the whole podcast to be that. I'm telling you, when I was traveling, I was in Vancouver last week, and there's a whole bunch of guys after the show like, "Where's Jason?" I'm like, I don't know. I left, and they're like, "I love that Jason's horrible life. I live for it. It's what I look forward to every week. Can you please get him to come back?" And I'm like, I think you know two of the guys though, from Seattle, the one guy that wears the Slayer shit. The guy that had the seizure, that we got him so drunk he had a seizure.
Oh, yeah. Well, I kind of know them. I mean, I know them from that show.
A real live
It's
seizure.
hard to forget that guy.
But he had the seizure. We weren't there.
Yeah, I was
I just
after.
thought he was awesome at dancing.
No, it was we caused it. We caused it.
Yeah, I didn't cause it. I had like no money on me. How could I have caused his seizure?
When we bought all the whiskey shots.
Yeah, see, I had no money.
Yep.
Not me.
What's the statute of limitations on seizures?
3 years.
I actually think it's just once they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty much forgotten.
No, there was some kid
Seizure
at the show.
adjacent.
There's
Yeah.
some guy came up to us. He's like, "Hey guys, I just flipped a condo and made $100,000, and I'm gonna spend it all tonight." And I was like, "Let's do it."
Yeah.
And so it's like,
Also, there's no way we can do that in a bar.
yeah. So I was looking at all the strip clubs. And,
Everything was closed.
yeah.
We ended up going to some fucking like Greasy Spoon
Yeah.
like restaurant.
Can
They
we-
had to
can-
wait in line.
can we
for
buy
the union
donuts for
waiter.
everybody?
Yeah.
Just calling that guy Brewster's Thousands the whole night.
Brewster's,
We
Brewster's
were like,
dozens.
do you have a mortgage we
Yeah,
can pay
we like
off?
knocked about $100 off of that.
It was like
We now are the proud owners of 2 Waffle House franchises.
but so we were trying, but he did in that one bar. He's like, "What's your most expensive?"
That was a crane operator. I remember he drove cranes for a living.
He was
Yeah.
like, we were like, "What's the most expensive shot you have?" And the guy's like, "Oh, I have this whiskey. It's like $50 a shot." We're like, "Take a round of that."
Except that kid, he gets seizures. Just pointing
Yeah,
over
yeah.
there.
Yeah. So it was that dude, the dude that had the seizure.
We're doing shots of my wife's breast milk for 100.
Seen
Let's
that
do
done.
'em.
Seen that done. The have you ever-
Friends episode.
No.
Oh.
Did you ever work the Laughing Skull? And
Oh, Marsh? Yeah, that
yeah,
guy?
Marshall's place. No, what's his name? The funny dude who made the movie.
That's the Judd Apatow?
The manager, the manager of the club
Oh, I don't know.
went out to what's that crazy strip club in Atlanta?
Oh, the Claret
Stallion?
Yeah,
Oh.
what's it called?
Club. The Claret
The
Club.
Claret. I feel like it's something else.
Is there something with
It's like that.
in the title?
The
Whatever.
Claret Club.
I love that you started this story and you've asked Chris 3 of the 4 facts. You've given so far. You're like, it was in Atlanta. Now, what's the...
The
just keep
Claret
going.
Club's
It's
the
a
one with
riddle.
all the old black chicks.
It's not Claret. It starts with a C.
I'll look
While
it
you
up.
guys argue, can I tell you what I think would have been great the night that guy had $100,000 and he wanted to spend it all in one night? You should have chugged his sperm for that $100,000 and all this would have been done.
I would have left you alone.
He'd leave you alone. You'd have $100,000 and that guy would
Claremont Lounge.
Claremont Lounge.
Claremont
Claremont
Lounge.
Lounge.
Claremont Lounge. Claremont Lounge.
Claremont Lounge.
Claremont Lounge.
Claremont Lounge!
It's the fucking Claremont Lounge.
This sounds like another scene from Crocodile Dundee. He says he loves ya.
Good job. Okay, so anyway, the strip.
You won't like it when I'm angry.
The stripper said to him, she said, "Oh my God, my tits are hurting so bad because I can't breastfeed right now because I'm like doing meth or something."
Oh my
And
You should still
and
pump.
so
Per use.
I can't get rid of it. And he goes, he like shrugs. He goes, "I'll take some of that."
Oh,
So
shit.
she pours it into a glass, and he chugs it in front of everyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
America.
I mean, if her nipples were clean, I guess it's okay.
what nipple is
But
clean?
the breast milk's full of meth.
There's a really funny comedian named Jessa Reed who was on whatever that story, Ari Shafir's storytelling show on
Yeah,
Comedy
yeah.
Central. And
Oh, she talks about peeing.
she did meth for a long time, and she talks about, she read an article that said there's a lot of extra meth in your pee, and so she was drinking pee. If you're listening to this, after you're done, Google Jessa Reed and watch this story from Comedy Central. It is fucking
It's funny.
fascinating
She-
and really funny.
She shot the same night
It's
I
crazy.
shot.
What story did you tell?
The Verlander story. I played beer. I got drunk with Verlander and a couple of Detroit Tigers, and we ended up.
Oh, I've
meeting
heard. Well, you told this on.
the Verlander and Sons.
Yeah, you told this on. Talking shit.
Yeah.
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 Were you with me for the Coolio thing? Up in the Hollywood Hills?
When he did that guest rap on Gangster's Paradise.
No.
Remember that?
No. That was a fun night. I met Coolio for the second time.
Was it a fantastic voyage?
First time I met him was on a TV show that Mark Maron hosted called Nevermind the Buzzcocks.
I remember.
And Coolio kept calling everyone gay. He was like, "You're gay. That's gay. You're a fag. That's gay." And Mark said to him, he goes, "You know, you keep talking about calling everyone gay. You must have like latent homosexual feelings. Like you must be gay yourself." And he's like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah.
And they had to like break them up and like take them to separate rooms because he was gonna like try to kill Mark. But then I came on with him and he wanted to kill. I said something. He wanted to kill me, and I ran into him again at a party in the Hollywood Hills, and he no recollection of that he wanted to murder me on a TV show. Had no idea who I was. He was wearing a sailor cap too, which was like the admiral, like ahoy polloi.
Like you just got off the Love Boat.
Yes.
If you can't stand
That's
the
a
heat, get your
reboot
ass out
that
the
needs
kitchen.
to happen.
What's that?
We on a mission.
Oh, I'm sorry, I stomped you.
You didn't stomp anything.
No, your timing's been good tonight.
Yeah.
Just wasn't good for Earl.
Earl's not good for Earl. I love Earl. What are you talking about? Everybody think I was mad at Earl.
That's why we thought you left the show, because Earl said your timing was off. That's how angry he gets.
Oh,
Who?
I saw him crush that water bottle. Scared the shit out of me.
Do it again.
That's okay. No, it was for effect before. That would
Oh,
just
it
be
was because we were all yelling Claremont Lounge?
Claremont Lounge.
Claremont!
I like that.
What was the thing we used to do? Crosstalk.
Crosstalk. Oh yeah.
We used to do. We did it once.
It's
Twice.
funny.
We would we'd start the podcast and we would all
Just talk.
talk at the same time, and like really stay on
And
like,
really try
tell your story.
to
but
talk
just-
to you and talk to him and talk to him.
Should we try it?
We
I
can.
think we can try it.
But I don't really know much about you to dig deep into the subconscious.
Crosstalk. This morning, I had to pick up my daughter.
I
You
actually went
she
to the
wouldn't
friends
let
store
me
today.
pick her up
during
They
the
had
day
some
lately.
amazing
It's not
muffins.
really
When,
working.
These
she
muffins.
told my
But you
wife
guys are just
you know
doing
what I
monologues.
like
I'm a
to do during
kidnapper.
the
It was
coffee
like-
is
no, I'm
smoke
trying- I'm
weed.
trying to
monologues
tell
are
you
what
that-
makes
Telling
it
me.
work.
If I
Well,
could
because
smoke
tell a
weed,
story.
I thought you
like,
would
The
like
story
them
that
because
you
they
can
had
tell can be
blueberries
so
in them.
Fuck
evil
up
that
my
no one's
day.
ever going to
Yeah.
hear it.
Well, they actually,
They'll
you know
never
what
hear
you
the
do?
story. You
Like
could tell
chocolate
something
chips.
really
The
bad.
problem
I think
is
that
nowadays,
you
can tell something about how
Jason
Jason
would make
Jason
sense.
kidnaps
Because
children
sodas?
and
It's
molests
It's weird because they
them.
both have
I
sugar,
like
but
the
yours is
holy
natural
shit.
sugar,
I would
and
never
yours
molest.
is
I
like
did
not
the
natural
same
sugar.
Yeah,
thing.
It's
Yeah,
and
chocolate
he's been
chips.
hiding it as a father.
But,
That's how he
the
gets
thing
away
I
is-
always
with
feel
it.
like
So-
yours
But
is going to be
he's
better.
also-
than
I feel like
five.
he
he
also
also
Yours
still
will not have
sells
five.
And I'm
weed,
like,
and I don't
yours
know
would
why
actually-
because
I need a
we're
soda,
living
but
in
then
people
only
like
like
a
with
dessert
marijuana.
while
and
you
I'm
could
trying
have
not
yours
to
for
do that
breakfast,
these
and I think
days,
that's
so-
pretty cool.
Everybody's
Basically, it's
well
me
at this
smoking
except for
a lot of
Jason,
weed
just sitting and watching.
and then
Belmont
taking a
Station!
nap.
I point out that Chris's eyes were closed the whole time, like he was concentrating so hard as he was talking.
It was like
This is
monk
hard.
chanting.
He almost
And
pooped a
then we
little.
go down to the mountain and
I-
love it.
I try to say really horrible things about Jason, and he's going, "Oh my God, stop it! I would never molest a child." You were just listening to me.
I was.
You were talking about chocolate chip cookie. You can
I
hear.
was talking about chocolate chip muffins, and I was going to get him blueberry ones until the difference. It doesn't matter.
You were focusing.
I was trying to talk about how I wasn't smoking weed.
He was
Try-
doing a chant.
I wonder how many listeners will be able to pull out what was said.
Oh, that'll be the thing. They're like, oh, I know what all four conversations are right now. There'll be there'll be trivia nights at bars about this episode.
Crosstalk.
Crosstalk.
It happened with Fairbanks. We were doing it with Chris Fairbanks because we all were talking at the same
Yeah.
time, and then we go, "Let's just keep going."
He would be a tough one to do that with.
Oh, he did
He's
fantastic.
so fucking funny, and
Oh.
when he
was
screws up his
fantastic.
words on stage, that's my favorite. That
You
absent.
can't tell if it's real or not when he does
God
that shit.
damn it, he's
It's like,
funny.
is he really fucking up, or is that him just being awesome? Like, seriously.
He's the most. I think he's the most underrated comic in the world.
He's so fan.
He's
unbelievable.
brilliant.
We went to Montreal together for New Faces, and our van driver was amazing, and he was French, and he goes, "I don't like a lot of Americans, but I'm going to bring you guys to this French party." And we were like, "Great." So he brings us in, and we walk in through a Chinese grocery store, and then up, and it's a loft, and there's no furniture, there's bars, there's beer tubs set up. And he stops the music, yells some stuff in French. Everybody looks at us, and then he fucking leaves. And we didn't know what he said. So then all night they're buying us drinks, and we're like, "Oh my God, this is really nice." And the next day, someone calls me on my hotel phone, and he goes, would you like to get back into your country? And I was like, what? And he goes, would you like to get back into your country? And I said, hey, man, do you have the right name? And he goes, this is Chad Daniels. Yes, you like to get back in. And I go, what the fuck are you talking about? And he goes, I have your wallet. Somebody pickpocketed me, and they were buying us drinks with my own money.
No way.
But the cool thing was they didn't throw my wallet away or take the credit cards. They just threw it in the corner so someone would find it, so I'd be able to get all. They just took the cash.
Yeah.
And so we go back the next day, and the Chinese grocery store was on a different side of the building, it felt like. We had to go in a different way, and there was all this furniture. It was somebody's home. We went to a fucking Eyes Wide Shut party, and
No
it was
way.
outrageous.
And your wallet got fucked.
And I got picked.
Do you have an address for that? I'd like to.
Yeah.
That's my kind of party. Gone to some creepy things like that.
Such a weird
Uh,
world.
my first night ever performing in England, after the show, these guys came up to me. I was there alone, and they're like, in Birmingham, England. They're like, "You want to come to a party?" And I was like, yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, I got nothing else to do. I'm alone in England. I'm like, yeah, I'll go to a party. So I went to this creepy like row house, and it was just this awful party. And in the middle of the party, some guy goes, "Hey, you want to come upstairs?" And I'm like, I don't want to do drugs. He's like, "No, come up. I got to show you something." I'm like, "You gonna like pull your dick out or something?" He's like, "No, man, I got to." You're American, right? And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You got to come up here. You got to see this." And I was like, "All right." So I walk upstairs with him. He opens the door to his bedroom, and he had Dukes of Hazzard everything.
No, you totally needed to see
Can
that.
I tell you guys, I was going to guess slavery, and that's so fucking close.
It's very adjacent.
That
Very
is so
adjacent.
close, because I thought he was going to go, you guys love this, right?
Would you
Same
like to buy
flag.
one?
Yeah, that,
Same flag.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Did you have the lunchbox?
I had the lunchbox. I watched all of them. I had the big wheel.
Oh,
the
I-
Dukes of Hazzard big
oh.
wheel.
Rich kids.
Yeah, wow.
Jesus.
My
Yeah.
brother
Looks
and
like
I,
somebody's parents
when
weren't
it would
divorced.
come on, I think it was a Friday. I think it was a Friday night show.
Was it?
No, Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Friday
What?
night.
Yeah.
And so my parents would go out, and my brother and I would turn it on, and we would take the couch cushions and play the banjo or guitar to the song before it came on.
Fuck
And we were
yeah.
just like, it's fucking on.
Dude.
The fucking Dukes of Hazzard. Like, there
It
was,
was
no,
the shit.
It was
It wasn't the
shit.
same night as the Hulk, was it?
No, it was.
You could
Dukes of
relate to
Hazzard
the
went
Hulk a
right
lot.
into Falcon Crest. I remember that specifically because it was like, yeah. Well, I don't need to watch this.
Yeah.
I remember
tried-
I'd get home from the movie theater, and my parents would be watching Falcon Crest, and I'd be like, I am home way too fucking early. That's how I knew if Falcon Crest was still on.
Do you remember did I try to with Fairbanks? Did we try to do the Falcon Crest song?
I don't remember Falcon Crest though. I
That's
don't
Dallas.
remember.
Did you just do Dallas?
Yeah, I can't remember Falcon Crest. Did you know it's all French horn? All of it. It's crazy.
Music facts by this guy.
Why are you getting dressed, Rachel? You're like, oh, okay. I was like, she's leaving us.
Yeah, she just put on 3/4 of a hoodie.
Stand up and let them see it for that joke.
It is a 3/4 hoodie.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
3/4. Why is that a?
I don't know.
It's on a tilt too.
Yeah, it's
a tilt-a
asymmetrical.
hoodie.
No, I think it's the shirts all like jacked.
No, I'm telling you, the shirts that
Uh,
it's on a tilt.
it's a little tilty.
Well, those Duke boys got themselves into a heap of trouble now.
Hey, what's going on with John Schneider? He's in trouble or something.
I don't know who John Schneider. Oh, the
Luke,
he
Luke
was-
Duke, Bo Duke.
Bo Duke. He's going to jail.
Yes, he used to go to my gym
He straight up touched somebody.
in Marina Del Rey.
He got me too'd.
Is that what it is? And
I
he's
think
going to
so.
jail for it?
I'll Google it.
Yeah, Google Bo Duke. Bo Duke was touching daisies. Yeah, John
Well,
Schneider.
and Tom Wopat had a bit of a problem too, didn't he?
Well, I mean, they haven't worked in 32 years.
Well, yeah, they've all got it. I mean, other than not
Imagine the
get-
neck problems from all those sweet car jumps, though.
Tom
Seriously.
Wopat's got a lot of problems other than not getting enough hours at Radio Shack. Oh, he's out of jail now.
What did he?
Served 5 hours
That's a lot of time.
out of his 3. Oh, for unpaid alimony.
I met.
That's a whole
Wait,
different.
I
can of-
met his daughter. His daughter would work out at the gym too. She's old enough. She doesn't need She doesn't
So
need.
she's fine.
Must be another one.
Yeah, but could you imagine getting a divorce while you were making that Dukes of Hazzard money, and then not having it,
making
and you
it, dude.
still have to pay that alimony. That's
Oh no,
outrageous.
Tom Wopat got locked up too for
In-
annoying
in-
women.
in-
That's what it says. Annoying.
did Cooter lock him up or no? Who was
That was Roscoe P.
Roscoe
Coltrane.
P.
P.
Coltrane.
Coltrane.
Is there a semicolon before annoying women?
No, it's in quotes though.
Okay, good.
How funny would it be if when Tom Wopat got locked up, John Schneider showed up and was like, I tried to tie the rope to the bars outside and they won't budge.
He groped 2 female cast members in a theater musical he was set to star
Wow.
in Waltham, Massachusetts.
So dumb.
I've been to Waltham.
Yeah.
I hope when they
It's a
put the
real
cuffs on, they
gropey
went.
town.
Dude, are you kidding me? Massachusetts is all about
Or they made him
gropey.
get in the car through the window.
Some new fans before that
No, I wore these
before
on
that
purpose.
pinky toe comes out.
Holy shit, dude.
I did it on purpose because
How many people
everybody-
gave you $1 when you walked in here?
Everybody at the Improv wears their fancy shoes, super clean sneakers. So I intentionally put on the beaters from the beach.
Do you know how many new pairs of shoes you could buy if you drank cum?
At least 3.
You know,
That's a billboard.
your
Just driving down the highway.
reasoning, your reasoning for wearing shitty shoes. It's like all of the people at the Improv wash their hands after they wipe their ass.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
That's why I'm eating my own poo right
No.
now.
I wash my hands a lot.
Okay, but I'm
But
just
not
saying,
after you poo.
No, these
though.
are like I just fucking don't care.
your whole
No, we get that.
you show that all the time.
It's the easiest ones to put on by the door.
Okay, now you answered that.
Thank you.
There it is.
We know you care. Your vision took a shit and you got glasses. That's caring.
Chad's learned a lot about you.
Chad's fantastic.
We've learned nothing about Chad.
There's
That's a
nothing
good.
to lie
That's a
about.
good comic.
That is. I've noticed the funniest people come on here and don't let you know anything about. Harlan Williams just asked questions.
Yeah.
Harlan asked Jason a million
He
questions.
didn't want to talk about himself.
One of my favorite road stories. I was in Indianapolis and I was playing either Crackers downtown, and then he was playing Crackers Broad Ripple. What up, P. Lee?
We're killing it with you without you here.
Yeah.
You want to come sit down? Are you missing us?
We're going home right now, but I wanted to say bye.
Oh, you
Bye, P.
you travel.
It's good to
you
see you,
travel
buddy.
everywhere with your girlfriend. I get it. See, the boys are hanging out.
Yeah, I know. There's so much
Yeah.
toxic masculinity.
Get the fuck out! My dad left.
Yeah. Get out, you pussy.
You don't like the team I like.
That was a microaggression, and
Peter Lee, I love you.
I love you. I'll see you.
I love
Bye,
you
guys.
too.
Claremont
I'm very
Landing.
affectionate towards you.
Thanks for coming
What
hiking.
is it called?
They caught the murderer.
Claremont Club?
Yeah,
So we all.
Yeah, you can
so
come
Harlan
hiking.
Williams and I and all the staff meet up at some bar.
I'll tell you about it.
And some drunk frat boy walks by and looks at Harlan and he goes, I know you. Why do I know you? And Harlan's like, I don't know. He goes, I'm going to figure it out. And he left. And so we keep drinking. Like half an hour later, the kid comes back. He goes, I know who you are. You're Waylon Jennings. I was like, yes, he is. You're goddamn right, he is.
You got him. All right, we got to end this fucking
Yeah, I
thing.
gotta
Oh,
go. I gotta
Yeah,
dig in.
it's already tomorrow.
Is it? Is it past midnight? Fuck. Time to turn into a
Yeah,
pumpkin. Ooh.
dude.
Time to fuck a pumpkin.
Did you get a pumpkin at the pumpkin patch?
No, we're gonna get one at Trader Joe's.
I ran into him at a pumpkin patch.
That's why I'm here.
Like in the Simi Valley, like an hour from here. My wife makes me take the kid to the pumpkin patch. We're walking all around, and I look over and lock eyes with him and his kid, and I'm like, here,
Why Simi Valley seems like where you take your fucking
your jury.
no the chick you're fucking on the side. That's where you take your affair to get a pumpkin.
Apparently not. You're gonna run into Eddie.
How old are your kids?
I have a 3-year-old.
Okay, they're gonna listen to this one day,
I know.
and you should start saying
Cleaning
it was
it up?
your just say it was your idea to bring him to the
Oh,
pumpkin patch.
Good idea.
You're like fucking
So,
mother.
so my wife
kidding.
said she hates our daughter,
That's more like it.
And I was like, I love her, and I want her to have a pumpkin experience.
God, you're such a good dad.
Yeah, thanks.
You are
She's
so
lucky
great.
to have you.
Thanks.
Man.
And I've heard your all you've done tonight earlier is talk about your kids and how much you love them.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. And
So is
and
that
you
why
t-
you had a vasectomy?
I just don't want to start over because I have a
Okay.
19-year-old and a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
you
so-
couldn't do it.
Dude, no, like, listen, I don't know if this was your
They're so
experience.
cute when they're little. Though.
When we had ours 2 years ago, it'd be 2 years ago this fucking week, I already believe. It's
Oh, you
2
just figured that out.
No, but anyways, I was like the youngest dude in the fucking birth class for this when they do like an orientation for
Well, yeah, out
and
here.
my wife was the oldest woman. It was hilarious. And like a lot of the guys like oh well yeah, I mean, you know, this is my second time, and they're like trying to talk about like this is how they go through the whole thing of how the baby comes out and this and that and
Yeah, it is weird. The preschool that my daughter goes to, I'm like the youngest guy.
Yeah.
The dudes are all really,
Yeah.
really old and
That's weird.
really
they're
successful.
younger. Their secretary wants it's this weird thing. They all
They're
have
on round
like
two.
they have like they're all in round 2 out
I
here,
don't.
man.
Some of these guys aren't though. I'm trying to think. Some of them are. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of them.
When
are
you were
on round
talking
two.
about the old guys in the birthing class,
Yeah.
you said, and they were like, and then you itched your ear. I thought you were going to do like a Bluetooth thing where they're like, hold on, honey. All right, I can take the call.
Yeah, I like kids from 2 to 3. No, I liked 1 to 3. 1 to 3. Begin the first year.
It's impossible. They can't tell you what's wrong, and it's fucking annoying.
It's a nightmare.
And
It-
nobody, everyone thinks you're a dick for thinking that way, but it's the truth. They fucking scream and cry,
it's a war zone.
and you don't know what's wrong.
I haven't slept in 2 years, really, that much.
I don't believe that.
No, it's fucking true. It sucks. He still gets up. I don't know what his deal is. He pees out diapers.
Have you tried shaking them? I've heard
A
that
lot.
works.
It just doesn't work.
Drown them.
You know, scary. Like just even ironically joking about that. Like someone's gonna come back. Oh!
Oh yeah.
Here's how bad people are. I forget what town I was in. I have a joke
God
about.
turned his back on him.
I
That's how bad they are.
I have a joke. I told it on the radio about how.
Hey, buddy, we're doing a podcast in the back of a short bus. God turned his back on all of us.
I have a bit about. It's a true story. My daughter went in the trunk of the car, through the little hole, you know, like I had the one seat down because I had my surfboard. And I was in Hawaii, and she climbed through, and she was in the trunk, and I couldn't get her to come out. So I went around and opened the trunk from behind to get her out. But there was a family in the parking lot
Oh,
walking
awesome.
behind me that saw me open the trunk, and I had my child in the trunk of the car, and this woman's like, "Oh my God!" So I'm telling the story on the radio, and everybody's laughing. She calls a woman calls the comedy club, and goes, "I think he got caught with his kid in the trunk, and he made up this story." And I was like, "Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
an
you were
elaborate
there."
ruse
Yeah.
that I've made up to cover up that I lock my daughter in the trunk." And now I tour around the country doing it as a bit,
Telling everybody.
and then going on radio and promoting my shows with it so that nobody knows that I lock my
You're
kid
super-
in the
I forgot her car seat, and I wanted her to be safe. Trunk.
Yeah.
That's a good end.
All right. Yeah, that was a good end.
That was a good
Anything
end.
else? Anybody want to plug anything? Anything going on? Any big deals, Chad?
Just go to chaddaniels.com for all my live dates.
Did you get a TV show since you've been here?
Yeah,
That
3 of them.
Killer
You guys
Conan?
did get one? I got 3 of them.
I if you do get one, I do crowd warm up.
Huh?
You know, most guys are like, I'm a writer. I'm like, I'll hang with you off set.
No.
Like if you call me on shoot days when you're in the trailer.
You
I
give
don't
me
know why you're leaning
$600
towards
to
me
throw
thinking I'm
teachers-
going to get a television program. I will not.
Because you're new to the area, and they like new. So
But I'm old to
doesn't
earth.
matter. You're new, and you're only new once, so you got to
Yeah.
do it now.
Well, you'd think that.
Yeah,
I take 5 years off, come back, everybody's like, who the fuck's this guy?
it's
Yeah.
so true.
That's
you-
happened.
18
Whenever
months.
I go to meetings, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Where?" I just go, "Oh, I've been in Australia for the whole." You don't remember me, obviously. Let's just keep the Australia thing going. One time went to a meeting, and we're pitching and everything, and the woman goes, "How do I not know you? How do I not know you?" And I was like, "I've auditioned for you like 8 times."
I've just recently become memorable.
I had a good set.
Yeah, I took a memorable class.
You go to the improv like once a week, and I finally had a good set. Well, thanks for doing the show. I
Oh, thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me. I can't wait to have my first good set at the Improv.
You're always welcome back on somebody else's show.
Thank you so much.
This show is very exclusive. We can only have.
Oh, by the way, thanks for just having me on last minute.
He was allowed back. It's like Carson's couch.
Oh, I get it.
We called him over again. So like knock on the door next time we're doing the show.
I'm going to be busy doing Crosstalk, my new podcast.
Is it like CrossFit, but it's crosstalk?
Nope, just Crosstalk.
Did you just punch your neck?
I'm tired, man.
No, that's a good way to put yourself to sleep.
That's how.
No, I got a knot.
I'm tired. I don't want to feel my legs. There it is.
2 years.
I'm out. See you, everybody. Fuck you. I just noticed this too. Are you splitting out of your shorts?
No, it's the inseam of the pocket. I'm just fat.
So yes,
No, it's just I have a lot of butt.
Simple answer,
I got
yes.
a nice posterior for a weirdo.
You're
Let me
split.
see that sweet thing.
You split out of
Oh,
the
that is
jury
nice.
is mixed.
No, I got a round bum for a white guy.
You split out of both pockets.
Rough on you.
How much to put the load in your mouth?
All right.
There's got to be a number. What?
Let's just let it be a mystery.
$1 million?
Oh, no,
It's not about
that's
money.
gone in a year.
It's not about money.
I'd take a load of yours for $1 million.
You know what?
All
if
right,
I
listen.
took $1 million,
Now is that after or before tax?
yeah, is that
Before or after
taxable? Is that a
tax?
capital gain?
it's got to be a cool million. Like I'm gonna
Yeah,
get
yeah.
$1 million.
So you
Fuck
get
that. $5. I'll meet you in the alley.
I want to watch.
Hey, you guys, I'm gonna boomerang it.